Hi, hello, Jacqueline here, speaking my newsletter for the month of August 2020. So, we're continuing with the energy through the end of the year of predation. There's been a woven energy of hidden predation, hidden structures of power and belief and thought and social structures that, although they are hidden from us, we agree to them, we give our energy to them, and ultimately they are structures of predation. We are being preyed on. Our energy is being pulled into something that without our knowledge. And a perfect example, here we go again, white supremacy, the system of white supremacy, systemic racism in America. That's a true thing. We are beginning to uncover it and see it. And we're beginning to see how we have been woven in, us meaning I'm not racist, I don't have bad thoughts about Black people, etc. We are part of the system. We have been pulled in. Our energy has been used to keep it alive. And that's just so. And that's just one example. There are many, many systems of predation that we are subscribed to, that we don't know about in the collective and in our individual lives. So, a system of predation can be a group of friends that maybe you always end up being fill in the blank, the one whose house the parties are at, the one who provides the food, the one who picks up the bill, whatever it is. We get to examine everything and see all of these places we haven't allowed ourselves to know because, we liked having that group of friends or whatever it is, fill in the blank. It can be between you and another person. It can be how you prey on your own self, how you steal from your own self. And a perfect example of this that I work with in my own life is sometimes after my husband goes to bed, if I get on my phone, if I go on to Instagram, an hour, 2 hours, not 2 hours, but an hour can pass like that. And then I'm extremely tired when I go to bed, and then I sleep later. I don't have the early morning that maybe I had wanted for myself. In a way, I'm stealing from my tomorrow. When I do that, I'm literally stealing from myself. Because if my intention was to go to bed early and to get up early, I am stealing from myself when I check out into a system of predation, which, let's be honest, Instagram is for sure a system of predation. It feeds on us. Let's be real about that. So that energy is with us, and we continue to do that work. That's the work of this year, and it's really hard because it asks us to look at the things that are hardest to look at. We're down to the nitty gritty. Now we're looking at the things that we have looked away from on purpose. We did not want to see it, so we've put it away. That's what we get to look at now. We have to be completely clean. Everything, all of our relations with ourselves too, have to be clean. We cannot be in these loops of creating karma anymore. Those days are over. So as we have gone through this year, the polarity getting more and more, it's becoming very difficult to bridge the gap for people who are feeling the multi-dimensional time waves, the 3D, the 4D, the 5D, the 3D, the gross material, the 4D, the thought forms, the collective thought streams, and 5D, really the awakened heart. And I've always prided myself on being able to kind of bridge the gap and talk to beginners, we could say, people who don't have an ability or a desire to believe anything beyond what they can see, taste, touch, smell, feel, physically. So I've always been able to speak with those people. I've always been able to find a way to put into language multidimensional experiences that they can understand. And more so this year, that's getting more and more difficult, I think, because it feels for me, I'm on this bullet train to higher consciousness. I mean, it's nonstop now. It used to be, in meditation, I would receive something. In yoga, I'd have this activation or this shift in my field. In the dream time, something would come through. Now it's constant. I mean, let's be real about that. For the ones that are experiencing this, you know what I'm talking about. It's constant. And the gap feels too big in a lot of cases to breach. So that, I'm still working my way through that. That, I don't know what that means long term. Doesn't feel good, I will say. It is so incredibly important to take care of your field. Before, we sort of were like, meditate as much as you can, do as much yoga as you can, and imbue yourself with as many positive experiences and positive frequency activities and ideas and moments that you can, so that you can kind of hold yourself in this frequency. You need to be looking at it all the time. The polarity and the pull is so intense now that if you take your eyes off of it, you will get pulled in the opposite direction. And also, let's think about, on this polarity planet, you cannot increase in your light, which we're doing. We're awakening. People are awakening spontaneously. The ones who haven't been chasing it the way that I've been chasing it for 30 years, those people are awakening spontaneously. And as you awaken into light, you also awaken into darkness. The awakening to light brings up the darkness, the shadow material, the things that you've repressed, the everything that you haven't wanted to look at, that you haven't wanted to know about you, about your family systems, about your society, about your history, about everything. So we have to be clearing, be willing and strong enough and courageous enough to look at the dark as it comes up, because it's coming up all the fucking time. We have to be able to look at it and clear it, face it, allow it, integrate it, own it, clear it, so it's not running us, so that we can continue rising in light, because that's happening anyway. It's not a choice anymore. It's happening. So every single day, and really every moment of every day, you have got to be consciously aware of what's going on in your field. You have to be questioning and feeling everything. Everything. The news. Are you reading the news every morning? How do you feel before you read the news? And how do you feel after you read the news? If you feel depleted and worse after reading the news, which is probably the case, you shouldn't be reading the news every day. I'm not telling you to bury your head in the sand and not be informed. Maybe read the news every other day. And then balance the news out with something that makes you feel good. Every single activity, you have to be looking at it from, does this add to me energetically? Does it give me energy? Does it fuel me? Does it uplift me? Or does it deplete me? Does it bring me down? Does it take energy from me? Absolutely everything now. We are being bombarded constantly from all sides now. So we get to look at the foods that you eat. Do they give you energy or do they deplete you? The kinds of foods that deplete you are going to be sugar, processed, alcohol, caffeine, if you drink too much of it. I'm a huge fan of the single cup of coffee a day. We get to look at all that. Meat. Are you eating factory farmed meat? I can tell you that's depleting you energetically. From the chi level, you're being depleted. It's okay to eat meat. Just eat meat consciously. Find a butcher that works with farms who are not in the factory farming system, where the animals are honored, because this is what's true. We weren't raised to believe that. We're raised like we don't even think about the meat we eat. We need to think about the meat we eat. We need to understand what this creature, whose body we are taking into our bodies, what it experienced, because it lives in the tissues and we're eating the tissue. Come on, this is like common sense now. We live now more awake to the energetic world. Well, this is the energetic world. Friends that you hang out with, do they take from you? Do they deplete you? Or is it a give? Is it love? Or is it something else? And if it's something else, why are you involved with it? And how can you disengage? How can you create a circle of friends that give to you, that being in their presence uplifts you because they hold you in your highest and their energy field actually uplifts you rather than depleting from you? Every single activity that you choose to do during the day, certainly media, certainly what you are watching. The shows that you are watching, how do you feel while you're watching it? How do you feel after you've watched it? Do they activate your fear? Do they activate your disdain for humanity? Or do they give you hope and make you feel good about people and yourself and life? Watch the things that make you feel good about yourself. I'm not even kidding. We're down to that. You have to watch everything. You have to look at everything. Because especially now, during this time, and through the end of this year, we have to be so vigilant with our frequency and our field, what we allow in. Because I'm seeing people who were masters at maintaining a high frequency, who are being pulled down into the negativity. It's just from, they took their eyes off the wheel for a minute. And if you take your eyes off the wheel, it's like crazy. And I've experienced it too. It's unbelievable how fast it happens. And I question, I'll just like realize, holy shit, I'm like in a deep well of fear, sadness, hopelessness, anger, fill it in. That does not help. While it is a reasonable response to what's going on in the world, this does not help. You become part of the problem then, right? Now we're on a shit train to hell, right? So we need as many people as possible sovereign in their field, maintaining their field, feeding themselves with positivity, feeding themselves with love, feeding themselves with peace, feeding themselves with hope, knowing, because all those things exist. We don't have to find them. They exist. So we allow them to flourish in our field. We hold them. And when enough of us are doing that, and there are enough of us doing that now, that thing is the calm in the center of the storm, right? That collective field. And now more than ever, the earth and humans depend on that collective field. We have to hold the light. So that means you. Even if it means looking away from the election. Looking away, obviously vote, my God, and enroll all your people and drive people to vote and pick up ballots and deliver them for old people. Do everything you can to vote, to get people's voices heard. That's obvious. And look away from all the back and forth and definitely don't engage with news very often. And pray, offer prayers. Praying for the world is very aligned and feels amazing. Praying for California right now with all of the fires is very aligned and feels like the possibility of hope. So now more than ever, really, really get present with yourself and what it is you're doing in every moment and why. That's it. Good luck. I love you. See you out there.